Hello and welcome back to Helluva Podcast. I'm Alex.
I'm Beth Audie Ghostfucker. The O is totally silent.
And today we're talking about ghost fuckers, if you didn't guess from our intro.
Yeah.
As we're recording this, the most recent episode is season 2.
I am the mastermind. Sorry.
Episode 11, Mastermind. And the most recent short is Mission Chupacabras.
Yeah.
I always say it wrong.
Is number 4.
Number 4.
And also we're both ill.
We are.
I sound quite ill. So.
I feel like I just finally got off of sounding ill. I sounded horrible this last week.
No, you sound normal.
Yeah.
I keep thinking I'm getting better, and then I woke up sounding like this. So
you just keep doing things and not healing.
Well, I have a life is the
It's
problem.
true.
I have finals. I need money.
Yeah, I was sick where I was I need to go to class, crying, sobbing, and everyone was like, don't go to class.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, opening scene of this episode.
Yeah, coffee. I actually, when we were taking the notes for this episode, we were like, okay, we need to be normal. And then we spend 10 minutes analyzing the coffee orders.
Yeah.
But to be fair, it's pretty substantial.
And it's a through line.
Yeah.
From Truth Seekers.
Yeah. On Moxie's cup, his name is spelled Foxy, and the label is super long, so both are a callback to Truth Seekers.
Yeah, it's super long, and it's not just long, it has the squiggles all the way down it.
Yeah.
So it's that. I'll have a Neapolitan,
Cappuccino, more cappuccino,
Yeah.
make sure to blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
you knew it at one point.
I knew it, yeah. Honestly, I'm glad I don't anymore.
Yeah. And Blitz, in fact, does not have something iced, because he says, I'll have something iced, bitch, Mox. But he has a Frappuccino.
Yeah, I mean, it has whipped cream on top, so one can assume.
It's a Frappuccino. It is a double chocolatey chip Frappuccino. There might not even be coffee in it.
Yeah, true. Part of his, healing journey has been, going from an iced black coffee bitch to being a sugary Frappuccino bitch. You? Exactly, yeah.
If I go to Starbucks, I'm either getting the sugar cookie latte, or I'm getting a chocolate chip Frappuccino, maybe with mint in it. But I used to drink plain up black iced coffee,
Yeah.
so that's really funny. You got my ass.
Yeah. Also, Luna's name is spelled wrong on her cup. It's Luna, which actually, I saw something recently. I don't know if it was a headcanon or a theory or what, or if I don't know. It could be confirmed for all I know. But someone was saying that what if when Blitz adopted Luna, he spelled her name wrong, and it was initially spelled Luna, but he spelled it wrong, and now that's how it's spelled.
Especially because he worked at Lululand.
Yeah.
Luna. It's spelled the same way. It's not Lulu World.
Yeah.
They're trying not to get copyrighted for Luna's name.
Yeah.
No, I do think that has to be a Lululand gag of some way, because I've never seen Luna spelled that way outside of this show.
I have.
Oh.
Most definitely.
I'm just crazy then.
Yeah.
With the O's?
Oh, with the O's.
Yeah.
No.
No, Luna with the U is just the moon.
Yes, and it's just a name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
okay, yeah.
with the O's.
With the O's, yeah, I don't think I've seen that. It could just be a fun, quirky because they've all got crazy names.
They do have quirky spellings, but I would like to think that it's Lululand adjacent.
Yeah, or that Blitz just misspelled it.
Yeah, or that the gag of Lululand came from her name being spelled that way. I want to think they're related.
Yeah. She also, there's a bone sticking out of her cup. She's literally got a little pup cup.
She got a pup cup.
And Millie doesn't have a coffee, but maybe she drank it already. Maybe she downed that shit.
But if she didn't, it's interesting. And this is not normal. We're not normal.
No.
But it's interesting because what does that mean? Why didn't she get herself one?
Yeah, because there's no way Girly is a tea person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And is she willingly going to sorry, I need to stop saying is she going to get the coffee for everyone else and then gonna have the coffee in the office, because we know they have coffee in the office?
Yeah.
Or why? And it is interesting too, because it was a 4 holder, right? Is there even 4 drinks in there, or there's 3?
It's Moxie, Blitz, Luna. Yeah, I guess it's
yeah. So there's room for another coffee.
Yeah.
So either she didn't get one, she already drank it, and if she didn't get one, is she trying to she knows she can't afford one for herself, but she's only buying them because she's trying to cheer everyone else up because everyone else is dealing with Blitz's bullshit,
right.
including Blitz.
Yeah.
So is it peacekeeping? I don't know. It's probably a detail that means literally nothing, but
also, I mean, they've clearly put a lot of thought into everybody's orders.
That's true.
So, yeah. And then also she arrives at work with the coffee. Like, we know that this is her first time getting there because everyone else was there overnight. She shows up already with coffee.
Yeah, and she goes, have you been here all night?
Yeah.
So it's not like she showed up and then went and got coffee and then came back.
Yeah, implying that she already, like, knew their coffee orders.
So sweet.
Which is so sweet.
Which, like, Moxie, first of all, hardest, second of all, makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they're married. She probably does coffee run. They probably do coffee run for each other. But Blitz, I could also see, like, on site, but knowing Luna's is really interesting.
Yeah. I'd be interested if, for Blitz, this is maybe projecting because I used this as a joke in a fanfic once, not for Helluva, for something else. It was Club Penguin. We won't dwell on that. But I wonder if, like Blitz, whenever he asks for a coffee, he's like, oh, I'll just have a black coffee. And then Millie is like, oh, sorry, they were out of plain black coffee, but I got you this Frappuccino. And he's just like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I wanna headcanon that.
Yeah.
Or like one time she didn't know and she was just like, I don't know, I feel like you would just like a chocolate frappuccino or like a caramel ribbon crunch.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? No, I would never. Holy shit. Because we also know he likes boba, which is sweet.
Yeah.
So.
God, he is a fucking boba boy. Anyway, moving on from coffee. Veronica's office is still across from IMP, which I thought in Spring Broken, I'm pretty sure it says that she's only supposed to be there for a week. Although now that I'm saying that, maybe her office was already across from his and she just wasn't working there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the only thing that makes sense.
But she's not on the sign either, is she?
I don't know.
On the front of the building, I don't think they are. Because it's that other business.
It's Suck Inc.
Oh, she's probably part of Suck Inc. then.
Well, no, because it said, like, Suck Inc. all of these floors, but they notably weren't on the floor that IMP is on.
Okay.
So,
it would be really funny if they just are, though.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like maybe if they put her office there and then that floor is so underutilized that it's just her signage and stuff is still there.
Yeah. But her employees are also here.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Which also Millie, like, says hi to them and stuff, which is so sweet.
Yeah. Millie is that office girl.
Yeah. Every day Blitz probably comes in and he's like, oh, these fucking sucky bitches. And Millie's like, hey, Billy, hey, Clark, hey, Rufus.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah. Yeah. And then, fucking, did you have anything else on Veronica?
It's interesting to, is that how Veronica knew about the breakup?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
If she's fucking, or even if she just has her, like, colleagues across from Blitz's office.
Yeah, and all the succubi are kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like Veronica.
Yeah.
So they would totally be like, Veronica, we got tea.
Yeah.
Like.
I wonder if being a succubi gives her any kind of, like, breakup radar powers. Not actually that, but, you know, in
that
a
would
sense.
be crazy, yeah.
Yeah. Like, maybe she can sense heartbreak or something.
Yeah.
You know?
That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so then Wally Wackford, which I think we were, I don't know if we said this on the podcast. This might have been when we were taking notes for Mastermind, but we were discussing if Wally and Veronica are, like, friends or what.
Yeah.
So is he, like, does he work for her? Why, oh, no, he delivers the taxidermy.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you talking about?
But, like, yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah, no, he delivers the taxidermy because Luna is being told to destroy a bunch of taxidermy owls. Is that what it is? Which is insane.
Yeah.
Because taxidermy owls, expensive.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that is consistent with the bankruptcy he's bringing them into.
It's true. But the thing about Wally is he comes up. Wally's the silly, goofy little guy that's been here the whole time, as we know.
Yeah.
And he goes up to Luna and he says, hey, I haven't seen you guys in a while. Would you like to hang out some? And then Millie slams the door. But he's so genuine.
We've never heard it. He's just like the goofy voice just kind of goes away. He's like, hey, so.
Yeah.
Like,
he says,
what?
hey, I'm really worried about you. Like, you know, that kind of tone.
We work really hard to keep a safe space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But no, and he says it directly to Luna. Like, Millie is behind the door, so he can't see her. He's not looking at her. He says it to Luna, but he says, you guys. So that we can only assume is Luna and Blitz. Mm-hmm. So then that raises so many questions we've already been speculating that Wally and Blitz have a history, so that makes sense. But, like, what is that history? They fucked. I jokingly said that maybe Wally was Luna's babysitter.
Yeah.
That Blitz, like, when he mentions her having a babysitter in the prison scene, it was a joke, but also, like...
Yeah, and then you jokingly offhand said that, and I said, well, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. If they were dating, and, like, Wally and Blitz were just hanging out and Luna was there, and then Blitz had to go on a hit. Mm-hmm. Sorry, burp. Then he just, like, Blitz just being like, hey, Wally, can you just stay with Luna?
Yeah.
Like, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I could also see the opposite, where Blitz hires a babysitter for Luna, so just meets Wally through, like, his job application.
Yeah.
Which also makes sense because Wally works a shit ton of jobs all the time. And then, like, Blitz and Wally start having a little fling, and then it ends badly, and Blitz is like, all right, you're fired. Never want to see you again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, either way, they fucking...
Yeah.
Next episode's gonna be, like, they are lifelong enemies.
We're gonna get, like, the oops, but with Wally Wackford. Yeah. God. Yeah, but also Millie, like, slams the door to deliberately cut him off, like, which is interesting, because does she know about whatever history Wally has with Blitz and Luna, or is she just annoyed by him? Does she have her own beef with him? Like,
yeah, it's also interesting because she's, like, annoyed by the package delivery, too.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
She could just be like, get this guy out of here, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I would like to know if there is more there.
Yeah. Next little... thing, it's said that it's been over a month since, like, Blitz and Stolas' breakup, so both Full Moon and Apology Tour were both over a month ago. So that puts this in early December, right? Because Apology Tour was on Halloween, so if it's over a month, it would have to be, like, early December.
Yeah. And over a month could be late December, like, we don't know.
Yeah, but I'm anticipating Sinsmas. We'll probably do, like, on Christmas.
That's true.
And then Mastermind somewhere in the middle there. So
will it be in Hell Christmas or on Earth Christmas?
I don't know.
Or will it just be our Christmas and be completely unrelated?
Maybe. But, yeah, I don't know. I do think it's still not entirely clear, but I'll get into this later on.
Yeah.
But I think we can assume that Hell and Earth timeline are similar or the same.
Yeah.
And I'll get into that later because I have a whole bit.
A
whole bit. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah. Anyway.
On a still super serious note, the eyeliner drips down from Moxie's face when he cries.
Yeah.
So also Blitz and Stolas, right?
Yeah.
Or Blitz?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In this episode.
Right? Yeah, because I remember we were like, I said that and then I was like, is that true? And then it happened in this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just he wears eyeliner every day.
Yeah.
So does Blitz. So does Stolas.
So does Stolas.
That's important, I feel.
Yeah. Hang on. I stopped typing in the middle of that note, apparently. Because I was adding
But it's so...
I just wrote, Millie refers to the Bethany Ghostfucker show as Earth Trash, but it's so... And then I stopped. Because this isn't something that was in our notebook. This was something I started thinking of last night. Mm-hmm. Do I remember where I was going with it? I think I was gonna say it's interesting that Blitz has access to, like, an Earth show in Hell.
No, that is interesting.
I don't remember. I think I meant to go back and look to see if he was watching it, like, on DVD or if it was just on cable or whatever, you know? Like, because if it's, like, a DVD or something, then there are ways he could have acquired a physical thing from Earth.
I do think it's, like, a DVD or tape, and I could be remembering wrong, but I think when they put on the Ghostfuckers musical later, she, like, clicks it in.
Yeah.
So it probably is a tape of sorts. Did he go to Earth to get it?
Yeah. Bro using his new, brand spanking new Osmodian crystal to go to Earth again.
Well, no, because he's really good at it in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, way better than he's been in the other episodes. Mm-hmm. And so...
He's
been going up and getting the new seasons.
Yeah. Maybe he's been learning from Bethany Ghostfucker how to, eat out his Osmodian crystal.
He hasn't been eating it out, though. He's been, gently petting it.
Yeah. Bro is stimulating that clit.
Yeah.
Osmodian clit still.
That cloaca.
We're crazy. Anyway. Yeah. Okay. Then Millie says that her mom always says the best way to deal with being sad is the sweat and blood of hard work. It washes the tears right off. Which is just such interesting and important context for Millie as a character.
I mean, first of all, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Totally, yeah. Like, especially, you know, it makes sense with what we know about her when she was younger, like, from how she acted during the Harvest Moon games, and, like, it is in line with her aggression streak and just, like, the energy she puts into things, but then also her parents, and notably her mom, were, like, very hard on her in that episode, and that tracks.
It does. And then also, it begs the question of, like, how often and long was she sad for growing up? Like, was she always sad?
Yeah.
Like, did this actually work?
Yeah. It very much has the vibes of, like, to push your feelings deep down and just, come on, get a grip, get back to work.
Yeah. And it's like, because obviously she left the farm, you know, so whatever was going on there, if she was sad, didn't get fixed.
Yeah.
But then, like, you think about the hard work that she's put into IMP, like, that probably did work.
Yeah.
Like, finding these people and then working hard probably did make her happier overall. So I'd be curious to, like, 'cause she's saying it to Blitz. So I'd be curious to know if she believes that.
Yeah.
Or not.
Because she could also be saying it to him in this moment because, like, she hasn't been paid in a month.
Yeah, and also
like,
because she's probably, like, I mean, she did say that she usually just leaves him alone, but that's, like, that is the tried and true way, so maybe she's just grasping at straws at this point.
Yeah.
And, like, she's like, okay, what can I say to him?
Yeah.
But because I don't know, I feel like when sometimes, like, people will relay things that their parents said, they will say it, and then they'll be like, why am I saying that?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this was a moment for her, or if she does truly believe that, and then if so, that's a whole nother layer to her character.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Next, she refers to Blitz and Stolas' situationship ending as a breakup, and Blitz says, you need a relationship for one of those, and we never had that. And we never will.
Yeah.
Which is so fucked up.
Yeah, he said it.
He said it.
Capital I.
Yeah. He looks very sad while he says it.
He's also, isn't this the point where he eats the entire carton?
That is the next line, yeah.
Yeah.
The next bit, I mean, which, by the way, the ice cream is Crier's brand.
Instead of Breyers.
And it's Carolina Reaper flavor.
Which would make you cry.
Literally.
Yeah, but it's interesting that it, like, would make you cry, but it's, like, is it called Cries for that reason, or is it called Cries because you eat it when you cry, or both?
Yeah.
Like, is he making himself cry on top of already being sad?
Yeah, I don't know.
But also, he eats everything with hot sauce, so it probably doesn't make him cry.
Yeah.
That makes me curious. We might have to double check this. That makes me curious of the flavor of ice cream they give Moxie, because I just know that man can't handle spice.
I don't think it has a label, because I remember looking at that, actually. I think it's just, like, in a bowl, or it's not visible. I don't know.
Yeah. But no, he does eat the entire thing, like, takes the spoon, pulls it out, or does he flip it out?
I don't remember, but literally the entire carton.
Yeah, and he doesn't react.
No, no.
So that makes me think that either, like, he's just so used to spice from his cheese and hot sauce, that he doesn't react, which is a good detail, I think.
Or he's just so dead inside now.
That's true. That might be what it's going for. I choose to think it's the cheese and hot sauce.
Yeah, no, that would make sense. And then Millie just, in this episode, and especially at the start, is just taking care of everything, like, delegating tasks, being like, okay, Luna, you keep an eye on Moxie, I'll go keep an eye on Blitz, like, someone's gotta watch these two idiots, and, like, you know, her and Luna, and especially Millie, Luna is kind of more reluctantly, but, like, they have to be the ones stepping up and being responsible, even though Blitz and Moxie are kind of the ones who need to get their shit together.
Yeah, and it is really interesting, because, like, Blitz, like, yes, she shouldn't be, like, catering to him and, like, babying him and all of that, but also he's going through it.
Yeah.
Like,
he's having a genuinely rough time.
Yeah. But it is interesting to me that Millie goes to Luna. She doesn't go to her husband and say, hey, get your shit together.
Yeah.
She goes, Luna, watch my husband. Like, he's a child.
Yeah.
Because he's a man, basically.
Yeah.
Like, the gender dynamics in this episode are strong.
Yeah. And I hope it's, like, intentional to an extent, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I hope that they're
intentional
aware
in a
of,
good way, yeah.
Yeah. Because Moxie is being a fucking piss baby here, and ever since Unhappy Campers, he's kind of been a piss baby.
Yeah.
Pathetic little shit.
And we've talked a little
fuck.
bit about how he kind of has been losing his character, but also some of that patheticness has been there from day one, but there was more to him.
Yeah.
Now he's kind of just pathetic, and I think we said we were going to talk more about that in Mastermind, right?
Yeah.
Because there's, like, that one's even more inconsistent.
Yeah.
But, yeah, look out for that. We have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
Especially because, you know, we both used to like Moxie. You used to really like Moxie. He was, like, your favorite for a while, right? So.
He was your favorite at one point.
I think when I first watched it, like, when the new episode was X's and O's.
Yeah, I think we both latched onto Moxie, and then you went more Blitz, I went more Stolas, is what happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But now he's annoying as fuck. It would be so real. And I hope that changes, because I don't think it's true to who he is.
And he was always, like, the humor of the show. Like, that was always kind of his role. But he had more, you know, like, X's and O's. That's basically an entire episode about him. And there was, like, you know, more depth, more world building that was, like, wouldn't have happened otherwise. And then there was all these seeds, too, before that led to X's and O's. And now it feels like there's just going to be nothing.
Yeah.
Like, there's no seeds. There's nothing interesting. He's just humor, or he's just, like... I think they're trying to lean into him being annoying as humor, and it's just annoying. It's not funny.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Like, he doesn't even have good jokes, and, like, even when he was the butt of the joke, like, it was problematic, but I could see how that was funny.
Yeah.
It's not even that anymore.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on, Blitz's unconditional support punch card, which, once he gets his 7th punch, he has to leave Eminem alone for one date. Which is so funny.
I like that he writes Eminem like the candy.
Yeah.
And also, has to leave them alone for one date. The bar is lower than hell.
So low. I really want to know all of the different instances he got his punch card punched, because this is his 7th punch, which Millie...
They get a date.
Yeah. Millie uses her knife to punch the last hole, and then she, like, puts the card in her pocket so that she can cash it in later.
Their asses are not having a date anytime soon.
No.
After Mastermind.
No. I want to know if Millie came up with this punch card idea after Ozzy's.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, this is our 1-year anniversary. This cannot be happening.
Yeah.
We need a system.
Yeah, because I know the idea was not Moxie, but so, like, it definitely was Millie. Yeah. Or maybe it was Blitz being like, okay, I'll leave you alone, but...
I need you to have my back when I am going through it.
And then Millie said, okay, we're going to make a punch card like we're at a cafe, okay, Blitz? Because he loves cafes.
Yeah. Next section, ghost hunting / fucking. It's said that Blitz hasn't paid them in a month, or over a month even, like, since the breakup.
So since the breakup. So he hasn't paid anyone since the breakup.
Yeah.
It's not like it was a slow downward spiral. He just dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah. Which, like, that's probably, if it's been, like, a little over a month, then that's probably, like, 2, maybe 3 paychecks, which is a lot.
Especially, like, they got rent.
Yeah. And, like,
I'm wondering, too, if he's even paying, like, office rent. Like,
yeah. I don't know.
Is he paying his rent? Like...
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't get put on trial for, you get it.
Yeah.
Not paying rent.
Yeah, but then Stolas couldn't have saved him, because it wasn't his problem.
Stolas just gives him a little bit of money before he loses all of his possessions.
No, he shows up, he says, here's a ton of gold.
Oh, Mastermind spoilers, by the way, I guess. We waited a little bit when Ghost Fuckers came out, but we were on a tight schedule.
Yeah, we are. Mastermind is coming out next week.
Our episode,
yeah. So
sorry.
They're spoils. Like, pause this, go watch the episode and listen.
Yeah.
Like,
when we do Sins Miss, we're going to be talking about that shit, like, days after it drops.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, for the rest of our season, just...
expect spoilers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Unless we make our bonuses part of this season. But that's for us to talk about.
Anyway, then Millie is repeating, like, he needs this through gritted teeth so she doesn't snap at him.
Yeah.
Which is, like, really funny, but also, like, oh, girl,
You don't need to cater to men.
You need to be paid. You
Yeah.
need him to get his shit together. Like, I mean, she does snap at him this episode, but, like, the fact that she even feels the need to cater to him when it's been over a month of him being like this is just, come on, girl.
And you know she's been in this situation with people before, like her brothers probably.
Yeah, probably Moxie even.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just
on Happy Campers ass shit. Yeah.
I do need to know how many times in their relationship things like that happen, because I feel like a lot.
Yeah. I really want to disregard Unhappy Campers as being canon altogether, but, like, it is kind of, like, that is kind of how he is the thing.
Yeah.
You know? So, I think you're right. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're meant to be this, like, picture-perfect, cute little romance, but they're kind of not.
No, and the thing is, too, I feel like Millie and Moxie, Ozzy and Fizz are meant to be the romances. And we know my opinions on Ozzy and Fizz, so we won't get into that. But they're not picture perfect, and I think we're gonna see that. I think like it's not just us now at this point. I've seen a bunch of posts too being like they're gonna fight about Ozzy and Fizz. But and then also Millie and Moxie. Like, so my thing is, if it were intentional, which I doubt it is, because of the way that they write gender dynamics generally in this show, and the way that Vivzie has talked about it publicly. Like, if we didn't have, like, Vivzie being like, well, I can't write her because she's a woman, essentially, then it would be a different story. Because, like, then it might genuinely be intentional, and they might be going somewhere with it, because, like, you know, I think the picture-perfect relationship, as it appears, being toxic behind closed doors is a really interesting trope. And not necessarily a trope, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the way it's going. I think they're just toxic and meant to be perfect.
Yeah.
Which is annoying.
Yeah.
And gross.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Heart pivot. Millie says she uses the word phantom, and Blitz refers to it as an F word.
Because he can't spell. It's a PH, phantom.
Yeah. Then he calls her a bigot and makes a dig at her being a hick. So, like, is this a faggot joke? Like,
I think it is.
This is a faggot joke, right?
I'm reading it as that.
The first time we watched this episode, I think we just were like, what? And moved on. But then when we had to, like, go through and analyze for our notes, we had to, like, replay it, and there's so many layers to it.
No, I remember when we watched that scene, and then I went, hold on, and I went back, and we watched it again, you were just looking at me, and I was like, that's an F-slur joke.
Yeah, I could not figure out what F word he was talking about. I was like, what is he? Yeah.
It's the a hick that sold it for me. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
And putting Phantom on that same level, I need to know if that's like, is it an F-slur joke in Bethany Ghostfucker? Like the Phantom thing? Or like, I don't know, because why would he say, I know you're a hick? Or maybe just because calling her a bigot.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, he says, like, just because you're a hick doesn't mean...
Yeah, you can be a bigot.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Speaking of faggots, the old couple in bed are reading books. One of them is reading a book called What is Gay Sex? And then the other one's reading a book called How to Eat an Entire Plane.
I need to know, do you remember if it was the man or the woman that was reading What is Gay Sex?
I think the man.
Yeah, not that it really matters. I just wanted to put it in picture for the listeners.
Yeah.
But I wonder what led it there. Like, is he experimenting? Does he have like a son that just came out?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. And then How to Eat an Entire Plane. I like to think that's some weird inside joke in the Helluva Boss like crew.
Yeah.
Like the animation crew. Because like that makes no fucking sense.
No,
but I love it.
But I need to. I'm sure that no one who works on Helluva Boss listens to our podcast, but if you are, and you know what How to Eat an Entire Plane is, please tell us.
Yeah.
We need to know.
We want to know the reference. Also, I just want what this old couple has, to be honest.
Yeah, they're reading in bed in their tidy whities, too.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say tidy whities, I don't just mean underwear, I mean tidy whities.
Yeah. Scooby-Doo-esque sequence.
Yeah, when they're going through the doors.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I like this little scene. I like when shows reference other shows.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was such a nothing statement.
I like when shows reference other shows.
I like when,
I like when they take tropes, especially in
Yeah.
animation, because I feel like animation is one of those things where, like, there's a few, like, I keep saying, like, there's a few tropes, like, of style that are animation, like, generally, like, a lot of animation use them, but I feel like a lot of tropes don't carry over.
Yeah.
Like, visual tropes.
Yeah.
because it's a different form of art than the visual, like, live action film. So, I don't know. I like when... I guess Scooby-Doo isn't a huge... Because other people have done that.
Yeah.
But I like it.
I like that visual gag is so tied to Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Like that so many other shows, and especially animated shows, have replicated it.
The thing is, they always replicate it in the same way. And, like, it's a reference to Scooby-Doo, though. So it's like, you know...
Yeah, but, like, Scooby-Doo made that trope, is what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, the music is fun. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what the music is, but we wrote down that the music is fun.
Yeah.
So I guess it was.
Probably Scooby-Doo-esque music. the take-off running sounds.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. What's that song called that we play in D&D when something funny happens?
The Benny Hill music.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite that,
It's not, but
yeah.
I think it's, like, the tame version.
Yeah, could edit it over that scene. We should edit that over, like, really traumatic Blitz moments, like the circus fire.
Blitz while watching his best friend burn.
Yeah.
The show in the background.
Yeah, Blitz's mom's eyeball falling out later in this episode. Yeah.
And then when Millie is yelling at Blitz and he tries to cut her off, which he does to everybody all the time, as we've seen, she goes, "I wasn't done."
Yeah. Whoa! Thank you. Thank you.
Because we've seen Millie be intense, but never, like, towards any of the main cast when it's actually their fault. Like, in X's and O's, we see her being like that about an X.
Yeah.
Towards Moxie, but it's not about Moxie.
Yeah.
This is the first time I think we've seen it.
Other than Unhappy Campers.
Oh, well, yes.
But, yeah, this is the first time towards Blitz, I would say, for sure.
I think that Unhappy Campers just genuinely doesn't live in my brain.
Yeah.
Because anything that happens in that episode, I'm like, what?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to just disregard it altogether, but we kind of can't.
No, we really can't. Especially because we are the critique podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, I feel like, really important. And also, he looks, like, thrown off.
Yeah.
Because no one does that to him, especially in the office setting. Except for maybe, like, Luna. But Luna just yells at everyone all the time.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because, like, him and Millie and Moxie, like, they are friends. And even, like, well, this is the pilot, which isn't canon, but, you know, he's imposing this, like, little family dynamic on the IMP crew, which is not really, like, a work-appropriate dynamic.
HR would get involved.
Yeah. But that they are, like, more than just coworkers, but also Blitz is Millie's boss. And so it is, like, different for her to talk to him like this.
Yeah.
Although we have seen Moxie sort of talk to him like this.
Yeah, but that's even different because, to my understanding, Moxie and Blitz... I think Blitz founded IMP, but Moxie and Blitz were there from, like, basically the get-go. Whereas Millie came in later.
We don't know how much later, though.
That's true.
And also, Luna was there first,
That's
if
true.
anything.
But Luna is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
That's her dad.
Yeah.
Luna the Nepo baby.
Yeah. I think, so true. I think Moxie, having more experience yelling at Blitz just comes from the fact that Moxie gets more screen time and in the show, generally.
Yeah,
more
and also, again, this comes down to gender politics and gender dynamics as well. Like, that's two men yelling at each other.
Yeah.
As opposed to Millie, who societally feels like she does have to hold back a little bit.
Yeah. And also, the show loves to have interesting dynamics between men versus interesting dynamics that involve a woman at all.
They like to have interesting anything that involves a man over and interesting anything that involves a woman.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it also, though, when we see the argument with Blitz and Stolas, he's acting the exact same way, and Stolas doesn't, like... I think he does argue back, but he's not, like, screaming back at him with the same umph.
In Full Moon?
In Full Moon, yeah.
Yeah.
But, so, when Millie does this here, like, even that, like, I think Blitz does just talk to everybody like this, and he's like, whoa.
Yeah.
My energy is matched.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, especially that I wasn't done, that she's, like, holding her place, which is really important, because that's, like, that was the whole conflict of Unhappy Campers, basically.
Yeah.
So I was glad to see it.
Yeah. I think you pointed this out.
Yeah.
Little color theory thing, if you want to
Yeah, is it this exact part?
Yeah.
Here, there's a green light emanating?
Emanating,
I was
yeah.
like, emanating. No, there's no I. Emanating from it's like the
fan.
Is it a fan or is it a vent? I think it's a fan.
It's a fan within the vent.
Within the vent.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're in the vent now. Because I couldn't figure out if they were like in that corner next to it, still about to jump in.
No,
they're in there.
The vent. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a fan in the vent, has a green light emanating from it. And I see green and I go, ooh, it's green.
Yeah.
Especially they're on Earth, so the ring's like, that's not the sky, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, is it meant to nod at Blitz's selfishness? Especially too, is this what's his name? The spirit guy, who's the hotel keeper?
Ronaldo.
I was looking for the name of like what kind of demon he is, but we're gonna say Ronaldo.
Investors.
No, we're gonna say Ronaldo.
You said
No, I know. We're gonna do that. Ronaldo.
I wrote these notes last night. It's fresh in my brain. I'm not just like thinking about Ronaldo on the reg.
Okay.
I just promise. Anyway, go on.
Because Ronaldo tries to fucking break him emotionally and mentally later.
Yeah.
So it's like, is he controlling this? Is he putting that like there? You know, I don't know. It's interesting to me.
Yeah.
I do think it is a cool visual element.
Yeah, I think more in universe there might not be any reason for it. I just think from a meta lens, like animation wise, it's a nice little color theory nod of
No, I agree with that. I would just like to think that it would be cool if he was also doing that.
Yeah.
He's been listening to their whole conversation.
True. Okay, moving on to Trauma part 1, the Millie edition. We have
I
a
thought
section,
you wrote the header Trauma Part 1, but no, Trauma Millie.
I did initially, because it's Trauma Part 1, Millie, and then Trauma Part 2, Mommy Issues Boogaloo, is what we had in our notes originally. I have to fart. I really don't want the mic to pick it up, though.
Hold on.
No, don't pause, then they'll know. I just won't fart.
They just know you're gonna be. Now they just know for the next hour you're holding in a fart.
Bethlottie, ghost fucker, never farts. I have to maintain my sexual appeal.
You're saying that farting isn't sexy?
Only when your mom does it. Anyway.
Blitz,
Hang on. Okay, Blitz is like, when he's like slipping down the vent, he like desperately calls and begs for Millie, and he says, I need help, I can't hold on. Which is such an intentional, like, double meaning that, like, yes, in this moment he literally needs help and literally can't hold on, but also definitely in reference to his just general emotional state.
Yeah. And we've been saying it, and we're gonna say it again. Brandon Rogers, I don't know if they, locked him in a basement and he practiced, but holy shit.
The voice acting.
Yeah, because it's like, Millie, like, it's heart-wrenching. Yeah. And it's like, he has tears in his eyes, I think, in animation, but, like, the voice has tears in its eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this isn't even, like, the most intense in this episode.
No.
And this is so
But
good.
I think this is the moment when we were like, wow. Like, that was the first voice acting thing that we were like, whoa.
Yeah. And then also there's Goop.
There's Goop.
And it's so similar to the Goop that's in... Sorry, I'm so congested. The Goop in...
You're going through it. I am so sorry. I wish that we edited the podcast.
I think it gives us some charm.
It does.
I'm sorry that I have to sound like this, though.
Maybe one day when we have a budget, period, we'll edit.
Buy our stickers and we'll edit our fucking podcast.
You'd have to buy a lot of stickers.
Yeah. Anyway, the Goop, it's similar to the Goop that's in, like, Blitz's bad trip sequence. That, like, drips on him, and stuff.
And the Goop is what's making him slip, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting, the motif of the Goop.
Yeah.
You know?
Truth Seekers is so painfully relevant recently, both in this and in Mastermind.
And in Mastermind, yeah.
So, that's really interesting. This show does do really good at callbacks when it does them right.
And I think... Truth Seekers, like, very intentionally laid a lot of groundwork for, I think a lot of season 2 in general with, like, everything we've learned about Blitz. Because we didn't know shit about Blitz and Truth Seekers.
Right. Like, that, because we were rewatching because of Mastermind for something. I think we were, the fucking stairs, but we'll talk about that in Mastermind.
Yeah.
Audie being really crazy about the framing of something that was just kind of unrelated.
That was about the different stairs, though.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
We are insane is the thing.
Yeah, but anyway, first thing I want to say, if you have just been keeping up recently and you haven't rewatched season 1 in a while, go rewatch Truth Seekers.
Yeah.
Because that was, like, the animation sequence at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And just compare it to any episode, like, scene that has come out recently. The difference.
Yeah, and quality of animation is insane.
And then also, just rewatch Truth Seekers as a whole, because that was also, at that time, the episode where we were like, oh my god, we're learning so much about Blitz.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because now, we know... I don't know if we know the majority of it, but it seems like it.
I think we do.
You know?
I think the only thing we don't know is the solo act.
Yeah.
Which could just be a dig at him, like, the solo act being like, you don't let people in.
But no, he also has the posters in his office, like the Blitz one night only.
That's true. Just the solo act line, I don't know if that's literal or if it's a dig.
I would assume literal because of the posters.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Rewatch that.
Yes.
Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah. Next, we should maybe quick fire these a little bit. The different Millies that show up.
Yeah.
They represent, like, ways that she could have died in previous episodes.
Yes.
Specifically, like, season 1. So first there's, like, present day Millie. Just saying, she says, "You always need help." And then we see murder family Millie. Says, "Always needing to take from those around you," which I think we said could be in reference to, like, how Blitz was, like, imposing on Eminem's relationship and, like, you know, not letting them have their moment, overstepping with them. Especially
because that's, well, obviously that is the first episode, but that's when we see it first, the, like, what am I... He doesn't say, what am I, chopped liver? What does he say?
I don't remember. Yeah.
But he, like, he makes a big scene about it.
Yeah.
And we see that going forward, but that's the first time.
Yeah, like Millie and Moxie hugging and being all sweet. I think he goes, "Oh, I'm fine."
Yeah.
Like, all bitchily.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we see the Lululand and Spring broken Millies, and they say, "Leaving them worse and more broken than you found them," which is such a great nod at how he thinks he's impacted Fizz and Veronica, because Lululand, Spring broken.
Yeah, especially Lululand, Millie's missing a limb, right? She's missing an arm or something. Is blown up.
I thought that was... I don't remember. I thought that was the Harvest Moon.
Okay, it might be that. I was going to say, if that is the case, then it's interesting if that's the Lululand one. But
right, yeah.
I don't remember. We should have written down, because I realized we're talking about this, and we know that they represent different things and why. Yeah, but we know they represent different things and why, but if you haven't watched this episode a million times, then you don't know that.
Yeah, because this thing with the different Millies is something that a lot of people have pointed out.
Yeah.
Specifically the dialogue, I don't know that anyone else has gone into it. That's what we've been...
yeah, because we didn't want to just say, okay, the thing that everyone's talking about on fucking Tumblr, right?
Yeah.
So we want to talk about the dialogue and how it relates, because that's more interesting.
Yeah. Because this feels like such a blatant little nod to Fizz and Veronica, and that's the more interesting part to me.
Yeah.
You can vamp for a second. I need to find it.
Okay, yeah. So we'll maybe just after we go through all what they mean, we'll go through what they look like all at once. But yeah, so in Cherubs, oh, this is actually good because you wrote a question mark, and I do know why we wrote this.
Okay, great.
In Cherubs, the Cherubs Millie says, "You think you can change?" I don't know for sure, but my guess on this would be something about morality. Because that's the whole point of the episode is, like, can someone change? Which really good nod to Has Been, by the way, I just realized. But, yeah, you think you can change is obviously really relevant here, because he's just gone through the breakup, and he's, you know, trying to change. But I think it is interesting in reference, because the whole thing of that episode is that guy gonna, like, kill himself, or is he gonna change and go to heaven? Which he doesn't, obviously, end up going to heaven. But, yeah, that's my guess on what that means.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then there's Harvest Moon Millie. She says, "You'll never stop fucking people's lives up," which Stolas assassination attempt, reference to that, especially more recently. learning that Stolas actually can get hurt and how much was actually at stake there.
And also we keep seeing like text posts or comics or videos about like the conversation, or no, we were watching old edits is what it was before Full Moon came out, and like them having the conversation about like, well, I protected you from Stryker the first time kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they did not have that conversation.
No. Yeah. And also I think this line is interesting regarding, like, you know, when Stryker was talking to Blitz in that episode, and Blitz was, like, stalling for time, but also, like, sort of listening to what Stryker was saying. I feel like maybe that's also relevant here.
Yeah.
I didn't write that because I couldn't fully connect the dots there, but...
Yeah. No, that is interesting. Like, to the design or to the line?
To the line.
Okay.
Like, you'll never stop fucking people's lives up, and then, like... I don't know. I think also this question of whether or not Stryker has the right idea, but then how Stryker ended up hurting Stolas so much. I don't know. I felt like there was something there, but...
Yeah, and also, I mean, in that episode, he does kind of fuck up Millie and Moxie's life also. In the way that, like Millie gets hurt. This is the one where she has the arm, like, chopped off. Because there are all ways that she could have died, and that is a way that she could have died.
Yeah.
Is this also... No. I was gonna say, if this is the last one, it might also just be, what is it, when you take them together?
Combination?
No.
You got it, man.
No, when you...
Conjoined...
No.
Compilation?
No, but close. Compilation is close enough.
Okay.
Compilation of all the other stuff. Mm-hmm. But...
Yeah.
Accumulation.
There you go. There you go. And then it's back to the, like, present day, this episode, Millie, where she says, when was the last time you actually loved someone without hurting them? And that feels like the accumulation of all of this.
No, it definitely is.
Yeah. So going back to what all of those Millies actually were. So the present day Millie, I think it's worth noting, like, she turns around and has no face.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm wondering what that means identity-wise.
Yeah.
Is it that she's unfamiliar and that's scaring Blitz? Is it that she doesn't have a sense of self?
Well, it would represent what Blitz thinks of her. Because this is his, like, little trauma montage. So maybe, like, worrying that he, like, just takes from her life and identity? I don't know.
Yeah, like, doesn't let her be herself.
Yeah. And then the murder family one is the...
Or fear that she's changed so much that she's unrecognizable could be another one. Mm-hmm. Continue.
Oh, well, I lost it now. Hang on, bear with me. I pressed play and then you talked and then I went back and then I went too far back.
Oh.
So it's all your fault.
You could have just pressed pause again when I started talking.
No, but it was already off screen at that point because it's so fast. Okay, so then the murder family Millie, she has, like, the glass shards coming out of her eye and, like, a branch in her hair.
Yeah. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
That's how she would have died.
Yeah. And ropes on her wrist also.
Yeah, and the fire.
Yeah. The Lululand Millie is, like, burnt.
So her face is burnt.
Yeah.
That's, I think, what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So that is definitely a nod to Fizz as well.
Yeah.
In the green fire.
Yeah. Like, it's, like, obviously it's not to Lululand specifically, but then also, like, Lululand itself is...
Yeah. But the green fire specifically is Lululand because, right? Or does the fire...
That's the circus, too. Okay. It's both. And then Spring Broken Millie is, like, sort of, like, waterlogged, like, as if she would have drowned in the lake with the fish fight thing, and she's purple.
Yeah. She Orpal.
She Orpal.
Well, no, it is important because she's Vraska. Right?
Oh. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, her design is meant to be like Vraska, and she's more pinky.
Yeah. And then Charub's Millie has, like, the golden, like, angel-y weapon things. Another one in her eye. One going through her heart. One in her back, it looks like.
Which is really interesting that it kills them has-been-wise, because...
Yeah.
Because that's what kills angels. But anyway.
Yeah. And then... Let's see, Harvest Moon Millie. Yeah, her, like, there's, like, a bone popping out of her arm and she's missing a leg. And
the leg is what gets caught in the bear trap.
Yeah. And then the present day Millie also starts, like, crying, like, black stuff.
Yeah, and their blood is black, right?
I actually read on the wiki last night, I think the, like, higher status, like, Stolas and like, the Deadly Sins, probably, their blood is black, but normal imps, like, Hellborn is red. But that's not true.
No. I was gonna say, definitely not, they're all black.
Because we see that in Murder Family.
Yeah. I don't know where you read that, but they're wrong.
It was on the wiki and it had a source, but maybe it was talking about not imps. Maybe it meant sinners? I don't remember.
I think that is true.
Yeah.
I think Sinner's blood is red.
Okay. Then I lied.
But no, because that's... Sorry, I only got so intense because I have gotten into this a lot, because I do think it's such a lost opportunity that they didn't make the blue bloods blue-blooded.
It would have been too on the nose,
I know, but it would have been good. But then I was like, oh, is there any difference in the blood? No, it's all the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally, I just read it last night and didn't really think much of it, and then as I was saying it just now, I was like, that is fully false.
Yeah. But yeah, so it is probably blood coming out of her eyes.
Yeah, and her mouth also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for the gore of it.
Yeah. Okay. Trauma Mommy Issues Edition. Boogaloo. Blitz is, like, running around multiple corners, and then as he turns the corner, he becomes, like, the teenage version of himself pre-Circus Fire.
Braces, young voice, all that. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, fucking whiplash when you're watching this, because you're just like, okay, he's running, oh my god.
Yeah. Also, this next sequence, as well as the TV sequence that happens later, we watched literally frame by frame.
Your extension?
I have an extension, a YouTube extension that lets me go all the way down to 0.1 times speed. So when I say literally frame by frame, I mean literally frame by frame.
We were watching him take a step. Step.
Yeah.
Step.
Yeah. So just so you know the work we do for the pod.
Another good voice acting moment when he goes, Mom!
Yes. And then, and then his mom's silhouette is, like, really, like, tall and big, as if, like, from a childhood perspective.
Which she was really big and tall, just generally.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It's interesting.
Is she an imp?
I think so, yeah.
But she has much different features than, like, any of the imps we've seen.
Yeah, even her mouth, I've noticed, is, like...
It's a lot different,
It's different, yeah. She could be hybrid or something. Apparently Striker is canonically a hybrid of an imp and something else, which makes him effectively, like, even lower class than most imps.
Really?
Which is interesting.
Is he imp in some kind of... Not Hellhound, obviously, but, like... Because he's a rattlesnake, that's, like, his whole thing.
Yeah,
so
I don't remember. I'd assume, like, maybe just general Hellborn thing, but I think it's, like, the hybrid aspect that causes him to be, like, a lower class,
But he's not hybrid with, like, a succubi or something.
No. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, because that would make him higher, I would think.
Well, it's the... I don't know, because succubi are Hellborn. Like, they're on the same level as Hellborn.
But they're not on the same as imps, right?
No, but I'm saying I think he is, like, Hellborn and imp hybrid.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Which I don't know if hybrid is, like, the correct term, but that's how it was said on the wiki. It feels a little weird.
Yeah, I don't love it.
Yeah.
But if you're using what you have available.
Yeah. Anyway. There's also, like, this... Oh, no. Wait. Sorry. Going back. That makes interesting, because I think what you were saying, we were watching Mastermind, and you were like, wow, Blitz is so much taller than the other imps.
Yeah.
And... If his mom either... I mean, his mom being tall makes sense why he's also tall, but if there is, like, some half biracial thing going, I don't know.
Yeah. He's also just really, really... Like, she's just really tall, and we see that in pictures of her. In, like... Because we don't see her other than pictures, other than this, right? Really?
I don't think so.
Yeah. And so... And also, he's a teenager here. So, like, it could be that she's, like, even bigger to be, like, he's looking up to her kind of thing. And, like, as far as animation goes. But also, he's a teenager, so I think he would see her as he saw her as a teenager, which he's going to be a little smaller than he is now. But not much.
Yeah. There is also, like, this, like, bright light shining from behind her. Almost like a heavenly light. Or just in a, like... You know.
He thinks his mama went to heaven.
Oh, yeah. Or just even more generally, like, he thinks she's, like, perfect. Like, that there's, like, this really warm, pleasant light. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he still calls her mama.
Yeah. Like, we went into way big depth on this, and I don't think it actually came to anything.
No.
But the way that he runs to her and calls her mama and said, I had a bad dream, is really interesting, because he's, like, 16 here.
Yeah, it feels young, but I think, considering that, like, she burns here, I would assume he's around the age he is when the fire happens, I think is what the conclusion we came to.
Yeah, and so it makes me wonder, like, is this just meant to, like, be a nod to him being younger and, like, he doesn't actually physically grow, but he's having multiple, like, mentalities here from different ages? Or is this something he actually did as a teenager? Like, he actually went to his mom and cried?
Or is it the combination of, like, he's his teenage self right now, but also, like, his present day self is going through a very traumatic experience, so it's sort of just, like, the amplified emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like the idea of he had nightmares as a teenager and he went to his mom in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Something so sweet about that.
I agree. I like to think that is true. The skull pendant, like, falls into his hands from his mom's burning body, and I want to know to what extent that's what actually happened.
Yeah.
Like, how did he find her? Was she, like, actively burning and dying when he found her, and it literally fell into his hands? Did he have to take it from her body? Like,
yeah, did he have to unclip it from her burning body? Was she already burned? Like, was she already dead?
Yeah.
Smoke inhalation, etc. Like,
yeah. Can you pause? I have to cough, and I'm trying so hard not to cough on the podcast. Yeah. Also, her eyeball comes out into... I wrote her hand, and she heard Blitz. But her eyeball comes out into Blitz's hand. I also want to know if that really happened.
Yeah.
It's such a specific thing, but it could just be, like, you know... Gore, scary, and Ronaldo is making it more intense and scary.
Right. But also the whole power of Ronaldo and everything is that it's believable.
Yeah, and also he's pulling from Blitz's actual memories, and so...
Which begs the question is, did it happen, or is it something he's played over and over and over in his brain, and it's slightly different every time?
Yeah, that's true.
Because that trauma, that's what it's like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When Millie... sigh of sadness. When Millie comes to find Blitz, he yells, "Don't touch me," as if, like, he himself is bad / dangerous for the people he cares about.
Yeah, and he does say that, too.
Yeah.
I don't have the exact quote here.
I make everyone's lives worse.
Yeah.
But I think, the part before that, too.
Yeah.
And he, like, frantically runs away and tries to physically hide from her.
Yeah, and not necessarily hide, but, like, move away so she will not touch him. Like, he genuinely is afraid of hurting her.
Yeah.
Just by her being near him.
Mm-hmm. But he does, like, crouch, like, behind the bed, which you raised the question of, did he hide like this from his dad as a kid? Because it's a very immediate thing that he does.
And he's such, like, an agile motherfucker. Like, he would be a hider. Like, as far as kids' trauma go. Mm-hmm. Like, Blitz is not a runner. Mm-hmm. Even though maybe he was.
He's a runner, he's a track star.
Like, he runs from his problems now. But he also hides from them.
Yeah, he does.
And, like, I would totally, and this is me getting into child psychology a little bit, but I would totally bet that he hid as a kid, like, as the main way of safety. And so this coming out, like he is 5 years old again. You know the whole, like, you're doing this and then you're 5 years old again, that meme format? Yeah. Literally is what's happening.
And there's also a tail flick here.
Of course, because why fucking wouldn't there be?
Why wouldn't there be a tail flick? Yeah. And then, like we were saying earlier, his eyeliner is dripping. All these fucking bitches got eyeliner on. So funny, honestly.
All the men, specifically.
Yeah. Although Millie visibly has eyeliner. Yeah. Even when, like, the winged eyeliner.
No, her eyes just like that.
Her eyes just like that, yeah.
She's just pretty.
And then Millie, again, she, like, stays very calm here, even as Blitz is freaking the fuck out, and she doesn't really know why, which takes a lot of, like, emotional regulation and, like, responsibility to, like, see someone else freaking out like this and to not also freak out. Maybe I just have anxiety, but, like...
No, you're right. She has practice.
Yeah.
Like, this is a practice behavior.
Yeah.
And I think that some people are more apt to it, like someone who maybe has experienced a lot of trauma is inherently going to be better on a chaotic situation than they'll be in a day-to-day situation, and then the opposite is flipped for someone who hasn't experienced a lot of trauma. Like, that's how nervous systems work.
Yeah. And it makes sense, one, with again, this is the second time I've referenced the pilot, but the come down, Mox, you're gonna have another panic attack.
Yeah.
Like, his ass is having panic attacks all the time, you know?
Yeah.
But then also, with what we were saying earlier about her mom, like, the best thing to take care of sadness is the sweat and blood of hard work. It, again, has that vibe of, like, push your own feelings down to prioritize what needs to be done. And
I'm also thinking about her and her brothers. Because that's a whole thing, and I think that is one of the main reasons she left the farm.
Yeah.
Is because she was basically a parent to her brothers.
Emotional labor.
Yeah. And then the Helluva short, Hell's Bells, right? Where they're talking about the brothers, and Sally Mae says the boys aren't that little anymore.
Yeah.
Like, basically they don't need you.
Yeah.
So I do think, like, you know, that's, to me, that's also where this comes from, like, needing to regulate a toddler tantrum every single day. This, you will learn how to do it.
Yeah, totally.
So that's how I read it.
Yeah, and she's, like, falling into this caretaker role.
Yeah, it's very motherly, like, hey, like, it's okay, like.
Yeah. Flashback scene.
Yep. I thought that said Beetlejuice for a second.
I also did when I was doing the notes. There's a sign, like, in the like, little pub or bar that Millie's in, there's a sign for...
Oh, yeah, flashback specifically to Millie in the bar. I feel like we should just say.
Yeah, yeah.
Setting the scene.
There's there's the meeting Millie flashback, and then after this...
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, in the bar, there's a sign for Beelzejuice, which... So first we were like, so does that mean this is in B's ring, the gluttony ring, or is it just imported from there? Which, if it's imported, that makes sense. Like, if bars are importing alcohol from gluttony, you know?
Yeah, that does make sense.
The outside that we see, like, the briefest glimpses of, it looks like bluishy, greenish. Greed makes more sense than lust, so probably green. And then also, at the end of the scene, we see ships outside, and we know canonically that Greed has an ocean, so most likely in Greed.
Yes, which is interesting because Greed is where Blitz is arrested.
Yeah, when him and Moxie.
Yeah.
When he meets Moxie. Yeah.
Right.
So that raises the question of what Blitz was doing in Greed initially.
Yeah, and this this is dipping into Mastermind a bit, but I'll be quick. When they show at the beginning of Mastermind, when they show the mug shots, it's Blitz and Moxie from when they were arrested at the same time, and then Millie. Oh wait, no, we debunked this. I was gonna say it begs the question of when Blitz got arrested, was it the hit? But that can't be true because Moxie was there. I'm sorry, I was really onto that theory. I thought I cracked something, but it can't be true.
I don't think anything that you just said makes sense to the listeners, but it does not matter.
Sorry, just ignore the last 10 seconds. Basically, I thought that Blitz and Moxie got arrested after the hit that Millie took, but she didn't get arrested because she took it, and so then he was coming after jail. But that's not true.
But also, Blitz and Moxie met in jail.
Yes,
is the other part of why that doesn't work.
Yeah, and Moxie wasn't on that hit, right? Because it was with Chaz, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I was just explaining what I was thinking so that the words before made a little more sense. Okay, we're done with that.
We're done. Anyway, Millie's past design is cool as fuck.
Yeah, she got long hair too.
She got long hair. And she's drinking a big thing of beer, which is kind of funny. But also, I don't think we've seen her drink before, ever.
No. And also, it's, specifically the beer, mug glasses. Yeah. It's huge, just a gallon.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I feel like it's possible her and Moxie had, wine at Ozzy's or something.
Yeah.
But other than...
I don't remember specifically, but it would make sense.
Yeah. But either way, it is wine and a big mug of beer are different things.
Yeah, and also drinking, obviously isn't something we've pointed out necessarily for Millie and Moxie, but it is a huge thing for Stolas and Blitz that we talk about.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
We, of course, notice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Blitz that shows up, in this memory of Millie's, he's very, dramatic and foreboding, big shadow, very ominous. So, was she scared of him in this memory?
Yeah.
You know?
Which is entirely possible because she took his hit.
Yeah.
So, she's like, oh god, this guy's gonna kill me.
Yeah. Or try to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, honestly, given the next note is really funny because as soon as Blitz starts talking to her, his tail flicks, which we know is his nervous tick. So Millie's like, oh god, this guy's here to get me. And Blitz is like, okay, keep it together.
Deep breaths. I want her on my team. Yeah, they're both just so scared of each other.
Yeah.
Intimidated by power and, like, talent is the thing. Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Blitz is talented at something.
Yeah. Well, when you're good at something, you should probably capitalize.
Why? When? Who did you fucking kill? Anyway. It was Fizz. That's what that means,
Yeah. I was gonna say it. Blitz is working with both Moxie and Luna at this point, but they don't have the Grimoire yet. They're just killing people in Hell. Which we've known for a little while that was, like, in the earlier days of IMP.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if this is I think it might be the first time that's acknowledged is in X's and O's when Blitz is like, oh, we don't kill people in Hell anymore. Like, that's not our business anymore.
We don't do that anymore,
Yeah. So we've known for a little while that that's true, but I do want to know more about that era of IMP, like what hits they were taking, what kind of people they killed.
Yeah, were they, like, Mafia adjacent?
Yeah. I actually have more questions on that in a bit, so I'll wait.
Okay.
But I also wonder what led Blitz to try to steal Stolas' grimoire. Like, was their business not going well? And he was like, oh, I know what we can do to, like, really get ourselves out there. Mm-hmm. Or did something just, like, randomly remind him of Stolas showing him the grimoire when they were kids? He was like, oh, hang on a minute.
Doesn't he get the grimoire, like, right when they get the office?
But initially he tries to steal it, remember?
Right.
In the flashback, the circus flashback.
Yeah.
So I wonder what led him to decide to try and steal it.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, like, they get it right when they get the office and, like, he needs another thing, yeah. But, yeah, I guess what prompted him to remember Stolas?
They get the office because of the grimoire.
Oh.
Yeah. So I want to know, like, maybe business was bad. And he was like, no, we need something else. We need a new niche.
Yeah, and what reminded him of Stolas is the question.
Yeah. Wonder if he saw him again. Actually, I didn't write this down because it is total conjecture, but I wonder if there was, like, a Harvest Moon festival that Blitz saw Stolas speaking at, and he was like, oh, that'd be really fun.
Does he know, when Stolas asks about Harvest Moon, though, I don't think he knows what it is. Because he, like, asks about it, and he's like, oh, this is what it is, and he's like, okay, it does sound fun.
I don't remember.
I think that's how that goes.
I remember him saying, like, that does sound like a blast and a half.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if it was fully implied that he didn't know what it was.
Yeah. I feel like he did have to ask, but maybe, I don't know. I know that Stolas explained it. I don't know if he asked, though. Or if it was, like, because he said something about it, and then Stolas has said the thing about, I like it's, like, how calm it is and the same every year, you know? But anyway.
Yeah. Did the mic start falling over, or am I crazy?
I don't know.
I can't tell if the angle is right to be hearing us.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
It looks fine.
Okay, cool. Anyway. Oh, you pointed this out. The next part about the skull pendant.
I got no idea where we're at. Okay, oh no, I got it. Oh yeah, his. I like they said thanks for that, Alex. Crying emoji, crying emoji. Yeah. Yeah. So the mom's skull is on his belt, and now it is in the flashback, and now it's on his neck, closer to his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that exactly happened where you were like, what? He's got a cool belt, and I was like, oh, that's the pendant, and you're like, oh. And you're like, he moved it. And I was like, yeah, to be closer to his heart. And you were like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I realized it was the pendant. I was just like, I wonder why it used to be there. Yeah. Blitz says, I work for myself. And that makes Millie extra angry at him because she's like, that's not possible. Like,
you bitch. You think you're better than me?
Yeah. Also, why is Millie so good at, like, fighting and agility related stuff?
I mean, they have the, like, competition things.
Yeah.
That she notably does and kills a lot of people at.
Yeah. I'm curious, like, is it just something that she's always been, like, into and good at? Or, I don't know. I'm curious if there's just any more reason for it.
Yeah.
Other than that.
I also guarantee she's like backhanding her brothers when they do something
True,
wrong.
true.
She is an abusive child parent.
Yeah, her and Sally Mae probably wrestle.
Yeah. Oh, cute.
Yeah.
I love Sally Mae. I want more of their childhood together.
Yeah. Sally Mae in Sinsmas.
Yeah, confirmed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we should definitely say that more about that.
Yeah. Shout out. We won't say everything that.
Yeah, we're gonna
they
talk
said.
about it mostly in Mastermind, right?
Yeah, but shout out to one of our listeners, Jessica, for some Slay intel and for messaging us recently. It was very fun.
Yeah, and one of the intels was confirmation from the voice actor, right, of Sally Mae.
Yeah.
That she will be in Sinsmas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe. Which is that the first? No, Harvest Moon. But that's the first time or the only time since Harvest Moon that Sally Mae has been in the main show.
Yeah.
Which.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Actually. Yeah.
It's crazy, but then also exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Millie says there's no shortage of assassins in Wrath, which implies that she works in Wrath.
Yeah.
But we're like as sure as we can be that they're in Greed right now.
Yeah.
So why are they in Greed right now?
It's entirely possible that maybe she just had a hit in Greed, or maybe the bars are better in Greed.
Yeah.
But
yeah, a lot of ring related questions.
Yeah.
Let's see. Blitz refers to himself as someone with an eye for potential, which is very similar to how he recruited Moxie.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, like, bro thinks he ruins people's lives and pushes people away, but really he's so great at bringing people together, which is like, fuck, man.
That was me stabbing myself in the heart, just so you know.
Yeah. Sorry, I feel like I'm taking all of these.
No, you're good.
A lot of them are kind of like wham bam, so I just kind of keep talking.
Blitz says you want to keep working for peanuts. Yeah, you would say that, Circus Boy, is what you wrote. Which I think we said, but not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would say that, Circus Boy.
It really reminds me of the song The Other Side from The Greatest Showman, which is where fucking what's his face Barnum is negotiating with Zac Efron's character and being like,
Barnum is negotiating with Zac Efron, the guy.
He's like, come on and come work for me, like, which is very similar to this scene. And then Zac Efron's character says, the line is, "I live among the swells and we don't pick up peanut shells," and like that's literally P.T. Barnum inviting him to come work at his circus.
Yeah.
And Zac Efron says no. I don't know. I just, very specific reference, but that's what I think of every time I hear this line.
So real. I am obsessed with all the circus bullshit in the show.
Yeah, you would say that, Circus Boy.
But yeah, then when Millie throws a knife at him, right? Mm-hmm. Blitz doesn't flinch at all. It does cut his face, which that's why we know it's black blood, because that's a black cut.
Yeah.
But it, like, brushes his face in it. He does start bleeding. Like, the cut visibly opens, and he doesn't move at all. Which proves that he trusts her.
Yeah. Like, he's choosing to put trust in her in this moment.
Yeah, and that's, like, what she needed. But also, for Blitz as a character, is so intensely interesting.
Yeah.
He's the flincher.
He's the flincher.
He's the traumatized motherfucker.
Is there a tail flick at this moment? I gotta look.
I think probably, maybe.
Like you would assume, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it's really interesting because he doesn't, and also the way, so he's the flincher, so it's weird for that, but then also it's similar to an Oops when he's tied up and he's just so calm.
Yes.
And, like, he takes pain so well. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like, he gets cut and he doesn't react, like, not even facially react. I think he smiles a little at the end.
Yeah, he does.
So it's like, how much pain and torture has this guy gone through at this point in his life?
Yeah, sorry, I'm watching it back right now trying
to...
He's such a fucking cunt.
Yeah. Also his outfit. He's wearing jeans, which I don't think we ever see him wear. Little fingerless gloves.
Like a fucking faggot.
Yeah, they're both wearing little fingerless gloves, right?
Yeah.
And then he has a little black leather jacket on.
Yeah. I love that little detail that he, like, puts out a hand for Millie to shake, and she, like, acts like she's going to shake it, and then at the last second she grabs a knife and throws it at him.
Yeah.
So she was, like, already kind of convinced, but then, like, this is what seals the deal for her, is that you're fucking weird.
Yeah, and actually he doesn't, now that we're both watching it back, he doesn't actually move his smile. He's just smiling the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way that you have to have such strong willpower and experiencing pain to not move when someone throws a knife at you and breaks skin.
Yeah. And there's not even a tail flick here.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
So, like, he does trust her, and that's really important, but also, what is Homeboy going through?
Yeah, no, truly. It's really, the difference between him and Fizz when it comes to even sharp objects specifically is so, like, damn. Yeah. They have different trauma responses.
Which Fizz, I would be willing to bet, also had different trauma responses when he was a kid, but that also could be medical trauma.
Yeah.
With sharp objects. But, yeah, you said it, but we brushed over it. I do want to note that you're fucking weird. Love that line.
I love the way that it's delivered. Talk about good voice acting.
Yeah. You're fucking weird. I'm in.
Yeah. And they become buddy so fast, which is, like, a little silly. And I think one of our qualms about, like, this little the Millie and Blitz in this episode, which we have a few qualms, but it's that, like, the friendship that they have, like, in this episode, and also they very quickly establish this friendship in this flashback, it feels a little out of nowhere. Like, there's not enough build up to it in the earlier show. Like, I don't know, like, they have some little sweet moments here and there, but this episode, it's just like, oh, they're best friends, and they've always been best friends, but we haven't really seen that.
Yeah, and if you want the whole moral of the story to be that they're better friends, because, like, at the end, like, I think on its own, the scene at the end, which we'll talk about a little bit later, where they're on top of the IMP van, and they're, like, you know, being friends, and they're, like, having a different step in their relationship, is a good scene in a vacuum, but it's only a good scene in the trajectory of the show because it references the flashback that happened this episode. If you wanted that to happen, it should not have been in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and you're right, it's like a quick, like, they're all of a sudden buddy. Like, I loved seeing their friendship and it was cute, but it didn't make any sense. Like, her starting to trust them and work for them, sure, but being like, yeah, okay, we're buddies, la la la, we're walking out literally into the sunset, doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah. Also, Blitz says, you'll hate him about Moxie.
Yeah,
Millie, which is such a funny little detail.
Yeah.
Her ass did not hate him.
Yeah.
And then sort of relatedly to Moxie, how long has it been since Blitz and Moxie were in prison?
Yeah, how long have they been doing IMP stuff together?
Yeah, how quickly after recruiting Moxie did Millie also join the team?
And we have no thoughts.
No idea.
That. Yeah,
no.
Just a question.
Yeah. Going into the, like, IMP team part of the flashback, Millie refers to this part of the flashback period as that year. So, meaning the whole IMP team was together for a year before they got the Grimoire in office. And then these are the other questions I had about Ring stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of rambled a bit. So, they say new office, new clients, new Ring when they get the office. So they did have to move to the Pride Ring from somewhere else. It's not entirely clear, like, where they were based before, because there is, like, a little clip where it does some, like, quick fire clips of, like, little missions they were going on before they got the book. So there's a clip of them, like, in a city and then scaling a building, and this part the sky is, like, blue, but the buildings are kind of purpley, so that would be either Lust or Sloth. There's not really any reason why it would be either one over the other. But we do know that Lust also has buildings.
Right.
But I don't know. But then there's another clip. We don't see much of it because they're, like, in an alley. But, like, in the background, there's a bright yellow sign that says Western and Ski and also Restaurant. So Western feels wrath.
Yeah.
But it's yellow, which would be gluttony. And I also think it'd be really funny if it's gluttony because Western and Ski and also Restaurant, it's like it's trying to be too many things at once.
Yeah.
Because it's gluttonous.
Yeah, that's really good.
I think that'd be really good.
Especially, too, if this is still during Blitz's partying arc. Like, they would be taking hits while he's going to parties. Yeah. I think where they're based and where they do their hits do not necessarily have to be the same thing.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. And I think and then there's one more clip where there's, like, a pinky and orangey sky. And it looks like they're in a field, so I think Wrath makes most sense
Yeah.
for that. So point being, they're doing work kind of all over the place.
Right.
Like, it's not clear where they were based beforehand, but they were just kind of all around. So
I think if they were based in Greed, it would make a lot of sense because Blitz lived in
sorry.
the coffer. Blitz lived in Greed for the circus, right?
No. Pride the circus was in.
But the fire was...
I think... I thought we established the circus was in Pride because
Then why
Red
was the
Sky.
fire green?
Is Hellfire just green in general, maybe?
Is it?
No.
It's definitely not.
But... Huh.
But anyway, Greed is the black market. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So this kind of business in Greed would make a lot of sense. So I'm trying to say.
Yes, another counter to your point, though. Well, I don't know that they would have worked in Greed after Moxie has left his family.
This is true.
But I don't know. Blitz, because in X's Nose, Blitz is like, oh right, this is your old stomping ground, right,
Yeah.
Mox? And I.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe Wrath then, or
Wrath.
Sloth, if he had like a good network there, because he went to parties. I don't know.
You mean Gluttony?
Yeah, Glenn.
Yeah.
My bad. Yes.
I did that in our notes too. I was
Yeah.
looking at it. I was like, what am I talking about? Which fucking ring? I don't know, man. They all blend together sometimes.
Yeah, especially Sloth and Gluttony because we've seen exactly one episode in both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, those are my ring thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then where did you leave off? You went through so many.
Right. Millie says we're just Rathians to Blitz. So he is from Wrath? Is the implication there?
Unless it's a racially charged thing, which we've also talked about. Rathian not necessarily meaning you're from Wrath, or meaning it's used in different ways. Because he gets called Rathian a lot when he's not from Wrath.
Not a lot, just the one time.
Just the one time. But
that is the woman assuming he's from Wrath.
Yeah.
And he denies it and gets defensive. But it would make sense if he's just, like, denying it there because this lady's a bigot and he doesn't want her to stereotype him based on
But then when
assumption.
he's talking to Stolas about the Harvest Moon Festival, Stolas is explaining that it's in Wrath, and he says, oh, my employees are from there.
Right. Maybe he just tries to keep it on the down low.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
Or if they worked in Wrath.
Yeah, maybe Millie just, like, is under the impression that he's from Wrath.
Yeah.
And he doesn't correct her because he's just an enigma.
Yeah, I think it could be either way. Like,
Yeah.
he could not be correcting other people, he could not be correcting her.
Yeah, I really want to know where he's from.
He just, I don't know, the whole air of him seems like he's not from Wrath. Like, he seems... You know how we talked about how, like, Moxie's family moving from Wrath to Greed was because they're, like, better?
Mm-hmm.
That also is kind of the same thing I had for Blitz's family.
Yeah.
But, like, because he was born there, he is inherently, like, not born from in Wrath, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess there's not a ton of evidence either way.
Yeah, but it would also be a fun parallel if, like, you know, Moxie was born in Wrath and moved to Greed, and if Blitz did the same or similar thing. Like, him...
Or if he did the opposite. If he, like, was born in Greed and then moved to Wrath, like, to work there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting questions. Yeah.
Yeah, and the circus thing, you're right that it had the red sky, but also it has the green fire.
It has the green fire, and then also...
Circuses do travel.
It's true.
I didn't get the impression that they're a traveling circus just by the way that their circus is set up, but it's also a cartoon, so...
The fire specifically comes from the candles on the birthday cake. Maybe the candles are from Greed?
I don't think that's how it works. I think the fire burns in the ring, in the color. We will...
I don't know. I don't think there's any reason why we should assume either way, though, because it's so unclear.
That's true.
I don't...
But why? But once they're off the candles, they're still burning green.
Yeah,
that would be a lot of fucking power from candle fire.
Well, just that's the source of it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But okay, if it's object based though, then it's burning all these things that are in Pride.
Right.
I think we should stop talking about where the circus is and get back to that maybe in the next episode after we do some research, because we will just keep talking to ourselves in circles.
I want to know!
Well, no, we can do research and we will talk, but we are alive.
We are not live. edit this out.
I know. You edited out.
No.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway, Blitz says that they're more fuckable and business savvy than any succubitch alive. Which is a nod to the majority of the building being owned by Suck Inc. But also, for him, maybe it's a little personal dig at Verosika.
Yeah, I think it's both.
Because I would assume they're exes already at this point.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
Yeah, and that's more of the timeline stuff I'm going to get into in a bit.
Also, more fuckable, like, that definitely is a nod to an ex that is a succubi. It doesn't necessarily need to be. Well, but...
Well, the succubi, their whole thing is, like, sex appeal and having the power to woo
that's
people.
true, I suppose.
So, yeah. The fact that Blitz is the one convincing Millie that she deserves to be here and, like, that she's worthy of a successful life is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
This is our main qualm with this episode, I feel.
Let a woman literally do anything herself.
Literally.
Like,
it's giving Charlie Morningstar. It's giving a woman character cannot exist without owing her happiness / success to a man.
It's giving Charlie Morningstar. It's giving Luna. It's giving... Name any woman that...
Name a woman.
Name a woman. Vivzy Pop. Name a woman.
Name a woman. Yeah.
Also, we do use Vivzy Pop as an umbrella term, but also
Yeah.
this is a little personal to her because of what she fucking posts about why she can't rate Millie.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, girl, you... If she would, like, acknowledge her very clear internalized misogyny when it comes to writing female characters, I would have so much more sympathy to her. But it's always just like, well, no, because of this and this and this.
And also, if she acknowledged it, then she would just be, like, just hire a guest writer. Hire a woman.
Yeah, work on it, bitch.
Yeah, either work on it yourself, or if you're not willing to work on your own internalized misogyny, then just hire someone who is willing to write a real woman.
Yeah. I like that I called her a bitch while calling her out for misogyny.
Wow, Audie, you hate women? You heard it here, folks.
No. Anyway. Oh, yeah, but she literally says she thought...
I had to watch this scene back to make sure this wasn't meant to be camp. I don't think it is.
Yeah, that she says, I thought all I could ever be was a simple farm girl. What is this, a Hallmark movie? What the fuck are you saying?
What did you do with Millie? That's not her.
That's not Millie. That's the stupidest line I've ever heard in my fucking life. Millie deserves so much better than this.
Yeah.
Basically saying she didn't have any dreams until she met Blitz, just like Charlie Morningstar.
Yeah. Especially, the thing that infuriates me about Charlie Morningstar, too, is she set herself up to be good and then her dad showed up.
Yeah. Literally.
And Millie's kind of similar. Like, she was doing her own thing, she was being good, and then Blitz showed up, and oh my god, my whole world is fixed.
Yeah, like, no.
Kill yourself. Not Millie.
Not Millie. This show.
The show.
Yeah.
I should not be saying kill yourself on the podcast. I'm so sorry.
We say it too much in real life. Please don't cancel us.
Yeah. We try very hard to make this as
okay, so getting into timeline things.
Yeah, you just take this whole chunk.
Okay.
Because you were crazy.
Yeah, none of this, or some of it, but most of this was not in our original notes that we took together. This was me being crazy last night. So, the tank of eels is in the office already, and in Murder Family, when Moxie destroys the tank, Blitz says, "Damn it, Moxie, I just got those eels." So the implication there is that the first episode of the show takes place very shortly after, like, the team gets the grimoire and the office, which also makes sense because it's in Murder Family that, like, Stolas proposes the deal with the grimoire. Although that does make me wonder, like, how quickly did Blitz lease this office after stealing the grimoire? Like, did he steal this book and then immediately sign some paperwork? Did it just take Stolas a while to realize it was missing?
Yeah.
Either way is really funny to me.
Yeah.
I like to think that Stolas was like, oh, let me do my duty as a Goetia. Where the fuck is my book? And it's been like 2 months.
Let me teach Via some spells. Where the fuck?
Yeah. You will be... Wait, pause. Save that for another episode. Where's my book? Yeah. So, all of this raises the question, if the show starts very shortly after they got the office, then how long did it take Eminem to get together? Because the IMP team was together for a year before getting the grimoire, and then Ozzy's was their 1-year marriage anniversary, like very specifically marriage anniversary. So how much time passed between Murder Family and Ozzy's is the first important question. The teacher in Murder Family kills her husband and herself on January 8th. And we don't know how long passes before she hires IMP, but, like, it's supposedly, you know... Shortly after, yeah. So then we can't really figure out exactly when Ozzy's is, but Harvest Moon, in real life, a Harvest Moon refers to the full moon that falls closest to the fall equinox. So that would mean that Harvest Moon takes place in roughly mid-September. And we know for a fact that Hell's full moon correlates with Earth's because an Apology tour, which happens the day after full moon, we see the moon in the sky on Earth, and it is full. So the moon phases between Hell and Earth are the same.
But it's the day after.
Well, then it's like slightly
It's like a day
waning.
off, yeah.
Or not a day off. Like, the moon still looks full a day after a full moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to poke holes in your thing. Continue.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, that would mean going from, like, January-ish to September-ish. That means that about 8 months pass between Murder Family and Harvest Moon. So we can, like, estimate from that like, probably another month or so, maybe more, like, passes between Harvest Moon and Ozzy's. So Ozzy's is, like, somewhere in the October to December range, is what I'd say. Which means that Ozzy's probably takes place roughly a year after they get the office in the Grimoire. Like, at most, it's, like, a year later.
Yeah.
So, Millie and Moxie would have had to gotten married. They would have had to have gotten married around the time that they got the office. Meaning, like, in this flashback, they could already be married, or they could be, like, engaged. I don't know.
Because I said that year, so at absolute max, less than a year.
Yeah.
They were dating.
All of this to say, they got married, they had, like, a year to get to know each other and start dating before getting married.
Yeah.
And, yeah. That's all.
Are we going to talk about the other thing that our nice fan said, or are we going to save that for probably a bonus? About Millie and Moxie.
The song thing?
Yes.
I mean, if that's something you want to go, like, deeper into, we should save it,
Yeah.
but I feel like we could reference it here.
We can reference it because there's nowhere we can put it in Mastermind is all I'm thinking.
Yeah. So this was our listener, Jessica. Thank you, Jessica. We appreciate your listening.
Thank you, Jessica.
And for being one of your top 5 podcasts. That's so fucking cool. Jessica went to a convention recently, and asked Vivzy Pop for a song that would, like, give a hint about, like, the future of Eminem's relationship. And Viv gave the song Ready, Set, Not Yet from Beetlejuice, which is a song where Adam and Barbara are debating on having kids or not.
Mm-hmm.
So that is very exciting.
Yeah.
We don't know how near in the future that is referring to.
I feel like it's also important that we don't know which way it will swing.
Yeah.
We don't know because in Ready, Set, Not Yet, they decide that they're not going to have kids right then, right? That's the conclusion.
They're saying, like, oh, it'd be so nice to have kids, but not yet.
Yeah.
And then they
don't get too excited for little baby Millie and Moxie, is all we're saying.
Mini M&Ms, as Jessica calls them, which is so cute.
That is cute. Oh, like the candy.
Yeah. But you pointed out that it also from Jessica confirmed that Sally Mae is going to be in Sinsmas.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the baby thing probably not happening in the Sinsmas finale. They've already got so many other things to cover. But that would be interesting if Millie's like, hey, Sally Mae, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, because a big family thing like that is who she would reach out to.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be mom and dad. And, it would be Sally Mae. So that's really interesting if, like, we just had Mastermind. Mm-hmm. We closed with, like, the fireworks and Stolas being like, I'll always die for you, don't worry. Yeah. And then we opened with Millie peeing on a pregnancy test.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
After almost getting executed, Millie and Moxie have some crazy fucking sex. No protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's fertile immediately.
Yeah.
No. But it's also interesting too. I wonder how is it going to be something like that, or is it going to be a conversation?
Right.
Because Ready, Set, Not Yet is specifically a conversation. Yeah. And if it's a conversation, I wonder how both of them would feel about that.
Yeah.
Because Millie grew up raising her brothers, so she probably doesn't want kids, or at least wants time, maybe. Like, I can't imagine right now them wanting kids this minute when their boss almost got executed and they're bankrupt and, like, all this shit.
Yeah, very busy time.
But then also Moxie had really shitty parents, so I could see the, like, similar to kind of what Blitz has going on with the, like, I'll be a shitty dad.
But Blitz does have a kid.
Blitz does have a kid.
Also, shitty parent Moxie has.
That's true. Moxie did have a good mom.
That doesn't necessarily change the matter. I'm just correcting you.
Well, no, but Blitz is the same exact way, and they would be fathers.
Yeah.
So it is the shitty parent.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. I feel like they would both. I feel like there would be a lot of quarrel there, and that might be an arc in and of itself. Is that conversation, and maybe, I mean, the smart way to do it would be one of them really does want kids and one of them really doesn't.
Sorry, I didn't know if
No, it wouldn't. You just started aggressively, like...
I panicked. Alex's screen started going black, and I thought our podcast would stop recording.
No, and you just started, like, playing with the clit of my keyboard.
Yeah.
But... No. I'm curious how that will play out. I think there's a lot of ways it could.
Yeah. But we should move on.
We should.
We've been talking so long already.
We just wanted to give you some insider info.
Yeah. Thank you, Jessica.
And thank you, Jessica.
So, back to present day. Millie gives Blitz back his, like, skull pendant, and his eyes go wide and teary immediately.
And he immediately grabs it, puts it on.
Yeah, like, it's so fucking cute. Him and Millie hold hands while they talk, and it seems like they've done this before, because, like, Millie offers her hand, and Blitz takes it without even looking at it.
And scooch closer. It's like a...
Yeah, they lean against each other. It's so immediate. Their friendship is so cute. I just wish we'd seen more of it earlier.
Yeah.
Because this is really an established dynamic that they have here, and I don't feel that we fully have had the context for it.
No, and before it was very much like we talked about this a little bit before, where it kind of seems like Millie is, like, trying to tread lightly, as opposed to, like, Moxie. Like, that they're not as close.
Yeah.
Like, she sees him more as a boss than a friend.
Yeah.
So having this, like, it feels like this got thrown in late. Like, they thought of it late, and with something like this, you cannot do that.
No. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's just this crazy casual lore drop of an infestor demon.
That has been their thing between this and Mastermind, just being like, oh yeah, this really important thing that like is big lore. Here you go.
Yeah, because like the infestor demon thing, it serves a very important part of them, like, solving this case. So it's kind of like, what the fuck? Why didn't they just say that sooner then?
Yeah. And also, it's the thing. It's like, okay, we turned from them having an argument, they made up, now next plot, answer.
Yeah. The only way that, like, there's a possibility that may never be relevant again, in which case it's like, okay, well then, it's not that big a deal, I guess. But
it's still annoying pacing-wise, yeah. You know the issue of, like, and this was a big thing with Percy Jackson, where people are like, wow, they don't let them figure anything out ever.
Yes.
That is how it felt.
Yeah, totally. Getting into spooky demon time.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this we can quick fire.
Ronaldo Bill Cipher.
Yeah, just Bill Cipher house.
This is such a clear Gravity Falls ripoff, which is the thing. It's like, this happened in Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah. Ronaldo licks Blitz's neck, which is so fucking weird.
Yeah.
But also weirdly kind of a similar framing to when Stolas, like, runs a finger up Blitz's neck and seeing stars. I don't know if that's intentional at all, but Ronaldo touches his neck a lot, and it did make me think of that.
It is interesting.
Just the framing, not, like, the context at all, but the framing of it is similar, which, yeah. So, do you want to, like, go one for one with this TV sequence part?
Yeah.
And if there's anything we want to elaborate on, we can, but...
So the TV sequence opens with the circus fire and people running away.
Yeah, then we see some horses running.
And then Blitz gets hit in the eye by the fire.
We see his mom's skull pendant in his hands.
Then his dad backhands him, which that's new.
That's new, yes. And then it cuts to present day Blitz watching this, and he, like, shakes after watching his dad hit him in this memory.
And also important that this is actually while the fire's going on, so his dad, like, stopped to slap him.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is really telling.
Yeah. Fizz burning in the fire.
And then Fizz in the hospital, and Blitz's dad, I don't know how we're saying Blitz's dad, Cash Buxo. Not letting Blitz visit him, like, standing in front of the door. And not letting him see him.
Which is also new. Like, we haven't seen that yet. Then we see, like, Fizz at Ozzy's, like, getting all in Blitz's face.
And then we see Veroska at Ozzy's and Stolas in the background.
Eminem hugging in Murder Family.
Which we already talked about a little bit, but, you know, that was probably a really pivotal moment where he was like, wow, I'm alone.
Yeah.
And then Eminem being sweet in Truth Seeker.
I think like they nuzzle their faces against each other or something. Yeah. Sorry, it's not very specific.
No, you're good.
And then also back to present day, Ronaldo like chains Blitz by his horns to pull his head back and physically pries his eyes open to force him to watch, which is a very direct reference to A Clockwork Orange, which is a book and a movie. I've not read the book, I've not seen the movie, but there's a very famous scene from it where a guy has his eyes forced open with clamps, which, fun fact, they made the actor actually do that, and he did have like lasting damage to his eyes because of it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We love to talk about like the entertainment industry on this podcast.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And last night I was looking up some context about the scene from the movie to see if any of it's relevant. Not really. The guy in the movie who like has his eyes held open, he's like fucked up, like sexually assaulted someone. This is meant to be like a rehabilitation thing for him.
Yeah.
Where they make him watch like super graphic, like sexual and violent things, while also pumping drugs into. I don't know. It's
Sounds
intense.
like a horrible thing to witness.
Yeah. This movie I think was banned in a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Not America. It was really popular here, but it was
I'm sure it was
banned in other countries because of how awful it was.
But Helluva Boss does make a lot of movie references. I mean, they did the Titanic thing.
Yeah. This is a very, very famous scene. I watched it in my AP psychology class in high school because of the like conditioning that's happening here.
That's real. Yeah.
And so I don't think there are any actual real parallels between Blitz and this character from this movie.
I can imagine though, like the writer's room being like, "What if we do some Clockwork Orange shit?"
Yeah. Because specifically the eye clamp. That's like, okay, that is intentional.
Yeah. I am willing to bet that's exactly how it happened.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the TV sequence. Then we see Luna in Spring Broken.
Yeah. And then we see Octavia and Luna with the grimoire, presumably in Seeing Stars, but we've never seen this moment before.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because like this is like a trauma thing.
Yeah.
So why this scene here?
I don't know. And Luna looks like angry at him in it, so that makes sense. Because, like, in the Spring Broken memory, she's, like, turned away from him and, like, mad at him. But what specifically is happening here in this moment that we didn't see?
Is this right before, like, right when they're walking back before they actually interact? Like, Luna being mad that she found her first or something? In Seeing Stars, when, you know how they separate?
Who?
Luna and then Blitz and Stolas. And Luna finds Octavia.
This is like at the end when they reunite. Like Blitz and Stolas reunite with Luna and Octavia.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying, but is this right before they actually reunite? You know, like, is this him seeing her from far away?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Then we have Barbie in Unhappy Campers when she's yelling at Blitz and specifically when she pokes his pendant.
Because why not?
Yeah.
And then we have Blitz pulling his hand away from Stolas at Ozzy's.
Then we have Barbie again.
Stolas again in the car.
Yeah, the car scene from Ozzy's. Stolas.
Is he in the car or is it Blitz in the car? Okay.
Yeah. Stolas giving Blitz the Asmodean crystal. Wow, is that an Asmodean crystal?
Is that an Asmodean crystal? And then Stolas walking away from Blitz an apology tour.
Stolas singing about Blitz with Veronica in apology tour.
And then Stolas' face in hands and crying at the party, the apology tour party.
And then, like, that very same conversation, but it's Stolas saying, "I just want someone to care," that line.
And then Stolas making out with that dude. Are we ever going to get any information on who that guy was?
I don't know. I think man just needed I do want to know if Stolas fucked him.
Yeah, if Stolas fucked him, and was it good?
Yeah.
That's all I need to know.
That's all I need.
Was it good, and did he get aftercare? Those are my 3 questions.
Yeah. And then we have the Millie from this episode. This is like her, like I think like the fake Millie that was angry at him.
Yeah.
Or not the fake Millie, the real Millie, but when she was angry at him.
And then the circus tent's on fire, which is a really interesting thing to like end with here.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of full circle, right? That's what it opens with.
Yeah, I think it kind of, because it shows the Millie from this episode angry at him. But then I think it cuts to, like, present day, like, Millie trying to get through to him.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
But then it shows the circus tents on fire, so I wonder if it just is a loop.
It's a loop. Is it the same exact clip, though? No.
No,
because people are running. So I'm wondering if maybe when Millie's trying to get through, Ronaldo thinks, okay, worst thing.
Yeah.
And that is the circus fire.
Yeah.
Because that is what you would do if you're trying to hold this worst thing.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. But back to the present, Blitz was crying from this whole sequence, obviously, because who wouldn't? But he stops crying as Millie is trying to get through to him. But then when Ronaldo, like, possesses him, Blitz starts crying again at the thought of hurting her.
Yeah.
Which is so, God. He, literally, his worst fear that he hurts everyone and makes everyone's lives worse.
Yeah.
About to be realized
and
in front of his eyes.
It's also so bad because his fear has been justified so many times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he feels like he's about to do it again.
Yeah.
This guy touches his neck more?
Again. Yeah, he touches his neck again. And then Ronaldo as Blitz says the filthy little Rathian wants to help to Millie.
Yeah.
Which is...
Or, like, about Millie, right?
No, to her, I think. Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah, well, like, to her, yes, but then also about her.
Yeah, yeah. His Bill Cipher ass. I wrote it twice because it's really...
It's literally just Gravity Falls, yeah, like, hello?
Yeah.
Which is... Yeah, it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, I understand borrowing tropes, and, like, possession is a trope, but the eyes are literally yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, and just, like, the voice effect. The voice effect is what really gets me. Like, that is Bill Cipher.
Yeah.
But they do a lot of allusions in this episode. Like, there's
true.
the Scooby-Doo thing, there's the Clockwork Orange thing. But
yeah, no, that's true. It's just interesting because I know that Vivzi's, like, some of her inspirations were Gravity Falls and Invader Zim.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that pulling from it this much.
Yeah.
And then is this Ronaldo that says
Ronaldo
this next line?
as Blitz.
As Blitz says, "You can't help anyone. You're just the muscle. Remember, to Millie."
Yeah, which is, like, something that the show itself actively perpetuates.
Yeah,
because
you can't make a joke or, like, make a statement about something that you're actively perpetuating.
Yeah, we only ever get to see Millie being the muscle.
Yeah.
So, like, this being an insecurity of hers doesn't really make sense because that, like, the show itself kind of verifies that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's, like, it's also not just that it verifies it through the plot. I feel like it's important to know, like, it verifies it through its messaging, not the plot.
Yeah.
And that's something we've talked about a little bit in Unhappy Campers as well. Like, that they keep being like, this is a statement and we're fixing it, but they are just actively perpetuating it.
Exactly. Blitz cries, like, so much watching, quote-unquote, himself hurt Millie.
Yeah, when he cries more here than with the memories.
Yeah, which is so sad.
Yeah. And then you never should have left the farm.
God!
Why are we talking about the farm?
Why?
And I keep calling it the farm, too, because for lack of better word.
But it's so stupid.
Like,
it's
you
so
never
dumb.
should have, like, again, it's so campy, but you can tell it's not meant to be.
Yeah, this really feels like a weird, it feels like, I don't know, like a Hallmark thing.
Yeah.
Like, little country mouse becoming a city girl with the big, like, it's so stupid.
And, like, if you were going to take that and subvert it, sure, but they are not subverting it. They are just doing it.
They're just doing it. And it's dumb. It is funny, however, to our next point, Millie beating the shit out of Blitz's possessed body because she knows he can handle it.
Yeah.
Very funny, like, trope reversal of the whole, like, oh no, my friend's possessed, I don't want to hurt him. She's just like, nope, I'm gonna fuck this bitch up.
Yeah. To the point where Blitz, like, it's him again and she just punches him in the face. He goes, "It's me!"
Yeah. To be honest, girl probably needed to get that out of her system. And then also just a demon can be possessed by a demon is very interesting.
Yeah. And it might just be these demons, whatever. What are they called again?
Infestor demons.
Which, like...
Ronaldo.
Yeah. Which, like, infestor...
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that is, like, in the name, you know, a little bit.
Infestor demon.
But, yeah, no, that's a crazy lore drop.
Yeah.
Because we know that demons can possess sinners. We know that, like, royals can do certain things. But this guy's not a royal. But where does he fall?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So it's interesting. Especially because he appears strangely human. So that made me think, like, Overlord adjacent, but he's a demon.
Yeah, it might just be a human disguise.
Yeah, but he used it the whole time,
yeah.
which I feel like is not typically true.
Yeah. I don't know.
The end, finally.
We've made it to the ending scene. While they're leaving, Blitz says, yeah, fuck hotels, which is a really funny has-been nod.
Yeah, his ass hates Charlie.
Yeah.
Which, timeline-wise, we don't actually know if Has-Been Hotel is existing or not,
No.
but...
We'll talk about that next episode,
Yeah,
actually.
because that's, like, half of the fucking episode, I feel like, is what we're gonna talk about, is timeline and shit. But, yeah, that's really funny. His ass hates Charlie Morningstar. His ass is not getting rehabilitated.
No. And then, yeah, Millie's insecurities were literally, like, introduced and resolved in this episode. And honestly, she didn't really go through much of a journey with them. It's just like, here, Millie, you know, she didn't think she could be anything. And then she met Blitz, and then everything was fine. And then it's, okay. There's just no build-up unless you count Unhappy Campers, but that's also done bad, so it doesn't really matter.
And, like... Her insecurities are if we're counting Unhappy Campers, her insecurities are introduced there, and resolved in that episode as well. And they're, like, similar insecurities, but they're not the same.
Yeah. And not only is it not satisfying, but this still ends up being all about Blitz.
Yeah. Just like that was all about Moxie.
Yeah.
I think the end, like, maybe you could twist to be a little bit about Millie, but not really.
Yeah, and only the women of this show, and especially Millie, get this kind of shitty writing treatment.
Yeah, like, the men have great, like, Moxie's a little bad now, but the X's and O's was great.
Yeah.
And Blitz and Stolas, that, like, they're getting all of it right now.
Yeah, and, like, the show's about them, so that makes sense. But then again, Has-Been is about the women, but the men in that show still get plenty of very interesting storylines.
Like, the whole thing is that it's about Charlie specifically, too, and Lucifer comes and saves the day. So it's like...
They're just...
just say you hate women, maybe?
Yeah.
And then, hard pivot.
Yeah.
Millie says... quote, so I'm your best friend, huh? And it's so earnest. And it's also like, did she not think they were best friends before?
Yeah, it's so sweet. Yeah. I do really love their friendship. Like,
I just wish it was like an actual plot.
yeah, like, it's, as a concept, it's very, very cute. I want more. Yeah. If they give us more now, that'll make up for it a little bit for me. Like, it won't fix it, but I will be happier.
Yeah, if they... And I think in Mastermind, too, with, like, the way that he looks at Millie and then says, I love you guys, like, he makes eye contact with her. Like, I think that's meant to nod, like, he does love her, too. Yeah. But I want more.
Yeah.
If you're gonna introduce it and resolve it so quickly, you need to do more later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Blitz says, I've never had a real friend that I didn't want to fuck, which, I'm sorry, but this is past and present wanting to fuck Fizz confirmation.
Yeah, both. Like, as a kid and currently.
Yeah. As a kid. Whoa.
As a teenager.
I know. I'm just being silly.
Fizz was his first gay crush.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I actually stand by that.
Yeah.
And Millie asks, quote, you're not going to try to be our third anymore, poking fun at how Blitz, like, gets in all of their stuff. And then he seriously responds, no, not anymore.
Yeah.
Which makes Millie look sad.
Yeah, and Blitz just kind of looks, like, resolved, like he's had a moment of acceptance.
And then, your husband is still a little fuckable.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. It's like they're currently talking about how her husband is fuckable in, like, a friend way. It's so cute.
Yeah. I also think the no, not anymore thing, I think it's right after that where Millie's like, that bird messed you up bad, right? So I think, I don't know. It's an interesting little moment where I think Blitz is, like, maybe come to terms with how, like, I mean, I'm sure he was attracted to both Millie and Moxie and would have happily been their third, but it also was kind of, like, projecting in a way and, like, you know, the complicated situation he was in with Stolas, but now he's like, oh, shit, I do actually love him and care about him.
So Blitz has a type. Pathetic little boys. Or little men.
Little boys!
Little guys.
Put him on blast.
Because Millie is, like, strong and independent. And we've talked about Blitz and Stolas being switches, which I still do believe to a degree. But, like, he self-proclaimed as a top.
Yeah. It's different though, because Stolas is quite pathetic, but he doesn't have powers anymore. So
yeah,
I was gonna say he's
but
like,
also
powerful.
in like we've seen them how they interact in bed. Basically, we haven't seen them like actually fuck, but we know.
Yeah.
He's a bottom and he's pathetic in bed.
Yeah.
And Moxie is like that in real life. And Fizz, I don't know how he is in bed, but there was that kind of like protector air to him.
Yeah.
You know, so that like that same thing.
Yeah. I would love to see, not see, but I'd love to see Fizz, Blitz is like, they have sex and Blitz is like, all right, I'm gonna top the shit out of, whoa, what is happening? And Fizz is like, I'm topping you. Blitz is like, no the fuck you're not. They end up arguing about it for 2 hours instead of fucking.
Yeah. Or like the switch thing in the middle and he's like,
yeah.
Or like maybe like it's like the second time.
Yeah.
So like Blitz is like, all right, same thing. And he's like, what? I think Blitz does need to get fucked.
He really does. Yeah.
Anyway, this is not.
I just love that they had this whole conversation on top of the IMP van in the middle of a cemetery.
Yeah.
What a vibe, honestly.
So I'm ready. No, have you ever sat in a cemetery and had a really deep conversation?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
it is true. It happens.
Yeah.
The spirits are like, hey.
Yeah.
Talk about your sex life.
And then Moxie, just the little ending moment, Moxie starts burning the papers and he starts dumping oil on them and it's Mammon branded oil, which is funny.
I want to think that Blitz like ran in there and was like, how fucking dare you?
Yeah.
And Moxie's like, what?
I have fire trauma, dipshit. Moxie's like, huh?
Well, no, not that. He sees the oil branding. How fucking dare you support that guy and like starts screaming about how bad he is and Moxie's like, it just got the cheapest one.
No, literally. And that's it for the episode.
Yeah, you got some credits.
Our little credit thing, Blitzo with an X through the O as usual.
And we talked about it earlier, but fucking the little musical thing is so cute.
Yeah.
How Luna wraps
him up, gives him ice cream.
And puts on Ghost Fuckers the musical.
Yeah.
And then his eyes light up.
Yeah, and then the credits, the song that plays, it's like a song from Ghost Fuckers the musical, and it's sung by Erica Henningsen, who voices Charlie Morningstar in Hazbin Hotel. And it is a really great, like, fake musical theater song. Yeah. Like, the way that, like, the dialogue within the song, it's like, this is so real.
Yeah, they got it.
Yeah.
Oh, also, this is, again, probably something more for Mastermind, but we do have... Did we have confirmation, or is people just posting about the fact that Via might have a song in Sin's Miss?
Yeah, I don't know if it's confirmed, but someone said, I saw a post that was just like, oh, if Via's song in Sin's Miss has this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just a speculation, but if
but
she
that
has
would
a song,
slay. And also her, because she hasn't really had a moment. The only thing she's had is the thing that stole us at Lululand.
Yeah.
So if she had like a moment and it was a song,
yeah, and she's voiced by Barrett Wilbert Weed.
You don't get her without giving her a song.
Broadway star of
Veronica Sawyer,
Heathers and Mean Girls fame. Yeah.
If you have not watched it, go find it's on TikTok. It's probably everywhere else. Go find the video where Erica Henningsen and I always mix up her name.
Barrett
Wilbert Weed are singing that song from Mean Girls. Mm-hmm. Do you know what one it is?
Is it the one where Janice blows up at...
Janice is being
Katie.
Angry at Katie. Because it, like... Obviously, it's the same voice actor, so it sounds similar, but it really sounds like
them.
And
really
you should
funny.
just go watch it. Anyway,
closing business. Right?
Yep.
Instagram, at AA Discussions. It's especially important to follow it right now because our schedule is different this month. And if you want to know when we're releasing episodes, follow us on Instagram because we'll keep you updated. Yeah,
especially because we can say for now that next week will be Mastermind, but we do not know when Simpsons is coming out, so our episode will come out at some point after it. So follow the Instagram because that's the literal only way you'll find out until you get the notification.
Yes. And then in our link tree and our Instagram bio, there's a link to subscribe to our newsletter, which is completely free, and that has even more fun information about our lives and what we're up to and our plans for this podcast and just in general. Yeah. And the next edition will be the 1-year anniversary of the newsletter.
Oh.
Which is crazy. We need to start thinking about something fun to do for that. So make sure you're subscribed so that you get to get that fun stuff in your inbox.
Yeah, and we also include little pictures, and it talks about us in our lives generally, which I think is fun. I like to learn about people that I'm listening to. So.
Yeah. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
So, stay sexy.